This is the 5th video in a series of videos about my having read 10 Swedish books in a single month. So if you've just shown up, you're late. Sit down over there, I guess. If you want to see the whole series starting from the first one, why would it not start at the first one? Then the playlist will be there. But if you want to see other things like long-form articles and interviews with successful language learners, then the link to my Patreon will be in the description. Did I say that fast enough? Yes, moving on. This video lesson is called Read 100 Books in Your Target Language, and the subheading for it would be, and you'll have barely scratched the surface. Now I'm guessing here, but I think that if you had stopped me halfway through the first page of what became my first completed book in Swedish and told me, hey Lamont, in 2 years you'll have read 23 books in Swedish, I'd have thought, okay, cool, so I'll be fluent in Swedish by then, right? And the logic there wouldn't be that if I read 23 books, then during that time I'll become fluent in Swedish. Rather, it would just be that if reading was easy enough that I could even read 23 books, then that must mean I'm fluent. Now, that is sort of true. I am quite fluent now, but the best analogy I can come up with for this infinite scale is subatomic particles. Now, I promise I won't get too nerdy about this because I don't actually know very much about atomic physics, but when they discovered the atom, they were like, this is the smallest particle. Everything that's made is made of this. That's it. They were, of course, Germans speaking English in a stereotypical German accent. That's how it went down. I'm quite sure of that. But then someone was like, actually, if you look closely, there's smaller particles inside, see? But then someone else was like, let's weigh one of these tiny particles. Oh, wait, you can't. They've disappeared and they have no mass. How is this possible? Because I'm putting on weight and all matter everywhere is made of this and this weighs nothing. What was I talking about? The more you understand of your target language, that is, the more subtlety of meaning that you can pick up on, the more detail you can see in it. And the more detail you can see in it, the more parts you realize are there to be discovered. And all of this means that in the eternal ocean of words, idioms, expressions, phrases, context, everything that makes up a language, in reading 100 books, you'll barely be scratching the surface. Which is why I said in the first video of this series that I have a current goal of reading 100 books in Swedish. That is my goal, as Swedes would say, now for the time. But 100 is not a magical number, it's just there to remind me of the scale of this. Now, if you're relatively new to your target language and you can't read books yet, remember it's an infinite scale, so that's no big deal. Where you are and where I am on this infinite scale are relatively close. So if it's a struggle for you to read a page in your target language, then maybe just try to read a page a day and only worry about that. Just think about reading that page every day. Soon enough, it'll be easy enough for you to read 2 pages a day and then 5 pages a day. And by continuing doing that, you'll actually be learning a lot more of your target language than I learned by reading like a whole book. I've been working on Swedish for like 4 years now, so it's not really surprising that I can read books in it. It's just a natural consequence of the time I've put in. So keep it up, keep going, good on you. That's it for this one, and if you want to see the next video in the series, it'll be about where I find the time to spend 2 hours a day reading or listening in Swedish. Vi ses sen. Hej!